Hi. Namaste, shalom, assalamu alaikum. Just doing a quick check-in. Sending lots of love, positive energy, all of the things. So I've been thinking, we need to make this end now. We need to make it end. And there's lots of things going on in the background that a lot of people don't know. But I was thinking, how my greatest concern at this point is everyone's mental health and physical health, obviously. And people are putting their lives at risk and their children's lives. It's got to stop. And we've got all of the evidence. We've always had all the evidence. We already know we win. But there's a gap between of knowledge of who knows what, and we've got to bridge that gap, because this is literally destroying lives. It's destroying people's lives. It's destroying people's minds. It's destroying people's bodies. It's destroying people's businesses. It's destroying everything. And I was just at, I just went into town, went for a sunbed. And I was just speaking to the lady there. And I was, I was like, well, I said, how has it affected you the last 18 months? And obviously her husband and her, they've got their own business, and not the sunbed shop, something else, plumber. Now, he wasn't entitled to any grants or anything from the government for the last 18 months because he's a director of his own business and he doesn't have a premises. And so he's not had anything. And obviously neither is she in turn as well, because they're both as directors, they do not got anything. And then you've got to think as well, so many businesses have lost business. They've either shut down completely. They've lost a lot of business over the last 18 months, and because of it still continuing, people are scared and they're not going out like they used to, or not, it's just fundamentally changed how people behave. And that is affecting everyone everywhere, but in their businesses as well as obviously their own lives. And then you think about how much people have had to spend, particularly when you know that it is a bullshit. And I'll go into this in a sec. And when you understand that it is all bullshit, and this was intentional, and it was planned, and that everybody everywhere has been manipulated and psychologically abused for this length of time, and financially abused as well, because if you think about all the things, either you've lost money, lost customers, and still now. just think about what it's done to you. What has this time done to you? To just everything, every aspect of your life. And not everyone has the same information at the same time. So I find it staggering that people can't see. But then it's because there's different camps here. There's the ones that know that are wrong and strong. There's the ones that know that are in denial or disbelief. And then there's the ones that genuinely just don't know all of the information, if any. And there's also the fact that information is changing all of the time. Information is changing all of the time, and it always has been. And technology is changing all of the time and at an exponential rate. And we're just not evolving at the same rate as the technology and the software and systems that are that's around, that's available. And that in itself is dangerous. And all of the systems, every single one of them, are fundamentally flawed, and they always have been. And the proof of that is just what's the state of the world in terms of what's going on. The levels of abuse, the levels of crime, the levels of addiction, the levels of trauma, just all of it, mental health, the levels of diabetes, heart disease, cancers, like all of it. And we're at a crossroads, and we've just got to, we either want to live or we want to die. And it's really as simple as that. To just be brutally honest. And people don't like my attitude, and they're trying to say that there are people that think that I'm being rude, and I'm not being rude. It's not my intention whatsoever. I'm just speaking with character, conviction, confidence, passion, matter of factly, and authority, because I know what I'm talking about. Because whilst everyone's been doing whatever they've been doing for the last 18 months, I've been doing this. And I'm not the only one. There are many of us. And people have, sacrificed a lot and put themselves under a lot of intense scrutiny and pressure and judgment from others simply to provide the truth. And they're just getting abused for it. They're getting abused for simply trying to share information that could save fucking lives. I mean, it's the absurdity of it. The absolute absurdity of it. And this is what I'm talking about. Mental health is absolutely fundamental to the change that we need to make and understand about who we are and how we function, and understanding ourselves and our minds and how it works. And because if everyone understands that and has that level of awareness and consciousness and truly understands their power, we're already an unstoppable force. You can see it. If you ain't seeing it, then you're blind. Because look at how far we've come. Look at how far we have come as a movement. Look at how many countries we're in. Look at how many people are joining in. It's all day, every day, and people are sacrificing a lot to do it. And they're doing it because they want to, because it's the right thing to do, because the evidence backs it. And they're trying their hardest and their loudest to get it out to as many people as possible everywhere. Because to us, we're watching people essentially kill themselves. That is what this is. When you've been in an abusive relationship, or you've been abused at some point in your life, whether that's by a friend, just an adult, either as a child or in a whatever way it is, whether it's sexually, financially, emotionally, so all of the ways. Yeah, when you've been through that and you've gotten out of it, you understand what that is. You understand the behaviors, you understand the signs, you understand what manipulation is, you understand what brainwashing is, you understand the damage that constant psychological abuse can do to you. And it becomes very obvious in others. You can see it. And this is what has happened here non-stop for over a year and a half, almost 2 years. It will be. And having been through that on first-hand experience for 8 years, it can fuck you up. It can break people. And these cycles, there are cycles. So there's the abuse, that's a cycle. So when you're abused, and this connects to all of the legacy systems. So you're being abused, and then you're threatened and brainwashed into thinking that that's okay and to silence you. And so you either remain silent, which is why only 1 in 10 speak up, because you're threatened or you're scared or you're embarrassed or ashamed or all of those things. And then you either become an abuser as you grow older because of that abuse, and because nobody helped you and nobody saved you and you didn't speak out, and you suffered for whatever length of time at the hands of an abuser, and nobody helped you, and then you either become an abuser as a result of that, or you remain a victim susceptible to abuse because of that psychological brainwashing and torture. Essentially, that's what it is. Make no mistake about it. So or you speak up and take your power back, because they only have the power while you're under their spell, while you're still doing essentially what they want you to do, which is to not speak up. Because as soon as you speak up about it and you out these people, it's game over, because you can prove it, right? So those are the 3 options there. So you're in this sort of cycle. And then when if you then become an abuser, is it your fault? Well, no, because you've gone through that cycle of abuse and nobody helped you. See what I'm saying? Nobody helped your mental health. And this is where all the systems connect, because this is, again, from first-hand experience. It doesn't matter how many times you tell these people. They ain't fucking listening. They're not listening. The only time they listen is after something really awful's fucking happened, like somebody dies at the hands of an abuser, or there's like 5,000 child abuse cases coming from one council, and they go, oh, better look into that now. And then they look into it, and do they change anything? No, they don't. So again, that reinforces that abuse is okay. It reinforces that they can do it. It reinforces that nothing's getting done. It reinforces that there's no accountability on any of these fucking people. And abused people still get abused. Right? Yeah. So there's that cycle there. Then the knock-on one is the mental health. The mental health cycle that is a knock-on of that. So something happens and you get into a mental health sort of negative cycle, because that's sort of pattern of thought has been put into you by somebody else, and then you're sort of trapped in that. And it is a cycle. It's a cycle of negative thoughts, and none of them are your own. That's the thing about it. None of them are true. None of them are your own. And you are worthy. You are enough. You are loved. You are connected. You are never alone, because everyone's going through it. This is the thing. There's an epidemic of abuse. So absolutely everyone everywhere has at some point been abused in some way. So really, we should be really empathetic to this. But we're not. Because we should all, we've all experienced it. We should all understand what it looks like and how to spot the signs. Yeah, we don't. So there's that cycle, which follows on from the abuse, then mental health. And then from that cycle is addiction, which is associated with all of this. So when you're feeling shit about yourself and the things that have happened, and if nobody's helping and nobody's listening and nobody's doing anything about it, and these people aren't being made accountable, you feel like shit. And then you try and replace, you try and make yourself feel better or drown out the negative thoughts, the demons in your own demons, and the demons of others as well that they've put in there. Let's not forget that, because from the psychological abuse. So you're then in this other cycle of addiction, because you're replacing, you're trying to fill this void, and it's a never-ending pit. So nothing will fill it until you've ultimately fixed the original problem, which is your mind, and knowing that it's not your fault. Yeah. So this addiction then cycle with the mental health and the abuse, and all of these are individual cycles and they're connected to each other. And then so the addiction, and addiction, let's not forget, could be prescription drugs, it could be recreational drugs, it could be porn, it could be sex, it could be spending all your time on social media, or it could be spending all your time gaming, it could be spending, whatever it is. There's a load of them out there. Drinking, procrastination. That is actually, well, not sort of addiction, but it's a habit. So then you get in this, and one thing leads to another, and it does. And then you've got all the people that with all these different addictions, they're all looking at each other like, oh, that one's worse than my one. No, it's not. They're all the same. Yeah, there's no point in judging anyone for anything, because we all make mistakes. And if you don't understand these sort of elements of how that you get to this, then you get judgy. And the fact of the matter is, nobody knows what happens behind closed doors, and we've all just got to be a bit kinder to each other and appreciate that actually this is going on a lot more than we think, and you got to bear that in mind in terms of how people behave as well. And addiction, and not be so judgy about it, because fuck it, look at what's going on. And if you think about and then the next bit of that, addiction. So addictions that just escalates and it gets worse and worse and worse and worse, right? And then the next roll on to that is crime. Because this spiral will, if people don't help you, don't stop you, don't intervene, don't act in your best interests, don't motivate you, don't inspire you, don't educate you at all of these levels, then that feels like something you can never get out of while you're in it. And if you let it, it will take over. And then that can lead to this crime. So there's a lot of crime that I would say is not crime, because you've got to think there's punished there with abuse, punishing themselves with the mental health, punishing themselves again with addictions, and then they'll get caught for something so that really is minor, and they've not been helped or by any of the systems along this path they could have stopped it all the way along here. So what I'm saying. So if we truly cared, we would stop we would be focusing on the abuse and stopping it there dead, and making people accountable, giving people the education, telling them what abuse is, telling the psychology of it, telling us about our minds, telling us how to control that, telling us about our power. Yeah, right there. If we fix that there, all of this along here will fix itself. It will fix itself. But here, so you're being punished in the abuse, you're being punished in the mental health of the negative thought pattern, then you're punished again, punishing yourself again with addictions, and then if that leads you to a crime to support those addictions, is it your fault? I'm going to say no, because you never had a chance. Because if nobody's helped you all the way along, or if nobody's noticed, if nobody's listened, if you've been ignored, if you've spoken out and somebody's told you you're crazy, and the way that the system has always been, and nobody's fucking caring really about anyone along this point here, which is and it is backed up by data. I'm not just fucking saying this shit for fun. It is absolute fact. There is an epidemic of abuse. And the fact that there is means that we aren't doing all of the other steps. We aren't making people accountable. We aren't, we're just not helping people in the way that we should. Whatever the process is old and outdated, and nobody's trained properly, in my personal opinion. Either they don't have the experience from first-hand experience, or they don't have the training to know what abuse is and how it affects you, although you should, on the basis of the last 18 months, because that is exactly what's happened, is 18 months of psychological abuse, which is making people behave in weird ways. And it's pressure, and addictions have gone through the roof, suicides have gone through the roof, domestic abuse has gone through the roof, depression has gone through the roof, debt is going through the roof, and still not a fucking thing is being done about it, right? So so I was telling you about this. So the woman was telling me about her thing in the sunbed shop, and I said to her, because she was saying that obviously they didn't get anything. She knows loads of other businesses that, because of how they are, they just sort of slip through the cracks of these payments, so they didn't get anything. So loads of people did get grants and stuff, but a load of people didn't. A load of people did not get a fucking thing. And I said to her, well, did you know this? I said, did you know that our government, more importantly, the Queen's Personal Investment Fund, saved an elite drug-fueled orgy, and I know it is because I've been there, And I'm going to go on to that in a minute. I was, I'm not into that. But I have been to those kinds of parties because I performed at them as a fire breather. Right. So I know a lot of people that are in that. It's not my personal choice. I don't agree with that kind of behaviour. For me, but I don't care about someone. If someone else, that's their choice. That's them, isn't it? But you know, it's funny. People judge either way. So they judge. So, for example, here, as soon as I said that, you should have seen her face. You should have seen her face when I said that I performed with these things, and you could see that instantly. She obviously thought I was into that, so I had to correct her. It's just because I fire breathe at something does not mean in any way that I am a whatever swinger or whatever. I'm just not into that at all. Never have been. Yeah, I'm like I'm a monogamist, and I know in this day and age, with all the cheating and lying going on, that's quite rare, but that's just me. And but I don't get, someone else's choice. That's their bag, isn't it? Whatever. Just because I go to something doesn't mean that means I am that person. That's how judgy people are. And in the flip reverse, the people at these kind of things also assume, they make an assumption that you are, and therefore they'll approach you different, and they'll be like inappropriate. And it's like, again, just because I'm attending this event don't mean I have the same beliefs or opinions as you on what's right or wrong in a relationship. It's just I'm fire breathing on the door. That is it. Underline. End of. I haven't got a problem with you. I don't judge you. It's not my choice, but that's your choice. Cool. You live your life how you want to live it. This is judging from both sides, see? And then they get funny, like, oh, why would you fire perform? Well, I'll fire perform wherever I fucking want. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's funny just how judgy people are. Anyway, that's a side note. The point of this is that the Queen's investment business saved this killing kittens to the tune of 350 grand, I think it was. So they're not saving, the government and that are not saving, these businesses and self-employed people at all over the last 18 months, but they did save an elite orgy, and it just says it all, doesn't it? An elite drug-fueled orgy. You should see some of the people that go to this thing. So it just says it all. It says it all. What they are like, who they protect, what goes on behind closed doors. Like, they're just fucking hypocrites at the end of the day. And they only care about their own. So I've found a group of they've come to my attention anyway, a group of activist investors from Silicon Valley, right? So what I was thinking was, what is the way to destroy these people? What is the way to destroy them? Yeah, you take everything, right? So look at Pfizer, for example. So this is only a couple of months ago. Pfizer was found guilty in a court case where, and this is to do with the EpiPen, and this is irrelevant. This is absolutely relevant. So in addition to the many court cases that have been won against Pfizer for bribery of doctors, like dangerous drugs, previous vaccines that have caused death that they've had to pay out for, it's like they've got a whole history. How people are ignoring this information, I do not know, but they are, if they're aware of it. So Pfizer has, with EpiPen, there was two pens on the market. One was Pfizer's, one was another company's, and I think it was Merrick's, which is a competitor. So what Pfizer did was they wanted the monopoly. So to take the other product off the market, they basically offered the competitor a profit share of their EpiPen if they took their product off the market. And by doing that, it also means that, so they've got the monopoly, there's only one product available, so only people are going to have to buy it because it's life or death, isn't it, with an EpiPen. And it means that they can price fix it at whatever price they want because there is only one product on the market. And it's a life or death product. So they did this with this company. Obviously, it was only EpiPen, and the price of the EpiPen has gone from $100 to $700 over the course of the last few years. And that price increase from 100 to 700 has obviously meant it is literally pricing out poor people that can't afford the EpiPen in essence, and putting their lives at risk. Who knows how many deaths are attributed to them not having the EpiPen. And so they've essentially they've got away scot-free with this. And there's loads of cases like this. There's loads of them, right? They've got too much power and influence, and they've also, you have to understand the contracts that they've made at the moment with COVID. Oh, and this also relates to ivermectin. So you've got to wonder, why haven't they? Because they're not approving ivermectin at the beginning has basically meant that they've knowingly, winningly caused 4 million plus lives, the 4 million that were attributed to the virus. All of those lives could have been saved with the early treatment and prevention with the use of ivermectin. That is an absolute fact. And there's loads of studies on it. There's loads of people that, thousands of doctors that have been trying to campaign for its use since the beginning, based on the evidence, based on the fact that it is for humans, based on the fact it's proven to work, based on the fact that it's Nobel prize winning product thing. It's listed, has been on the WHO's list of safest drugs in the world, and it has been all this time. So for them to now try and defame it or discredit it is an absolute joke. So and they do, and the reason why they're doing it is because Pfizer have been up to the same tricks. Because I looked into ivermectin, and ivermectin is made by a company called Merck & Co. Merck & Co is a competitor. And guess who's just done a deal with Pfizer? Merck & Co. What for? A twice-a-day COVID pill. So they've done the exact same thing as they did with the EpiPen. They've obviously taken ivermectin off the market in no uncertain terms, not told everyone they can't prescribe it, and then they're doing a profit share with Merck & Co. on the 2 times COVID pill daily. So they've got the whole monopoly, and they price fix. And it means they can do whatever prices they want, which they've already been proven to do because they're raising prices on vaccines, and they're raising prices on these as well. So they literally monopolize it. It's purely done on profit alone. They don't give a fuck about anyone's health. And the fact of the matter is because ivermectin, as I said, could have been prescribed at the get-go. Wouldn't even need to have vaccines. There wouldn't be this fear. There wouldn't have been a pandemic. Everyone would have been treated. Everyone would have survived. And that is just a fact. Right? So, where am I? So now I was thinking, how how do everyone needs to be the same. Everyone needs to be at the same level of awareness and consciousness, and be armed with all the same information and facts and truth to evolve at the rate which we need to evolve. And that is their greatest fear, is the truth. That's why they're going to such great lengths to try as to silence people left, right, and centre. And it's blatantly obvious, and it's just embarrassing. And the people that understand are these techies and very brainy people in Silicon Valley, because they will have been battling these people, but in a different way. These big boys, these Googles, Apples, Microsofts, Facebooks, yeah, because you've got to think about all of the antitrust cases that have been gone against them, all of the price fixing that they do on their app stores, and it's really just it's to erase competitiveness and make it impossible for anyone else to compete. So that's why that's why I'm going to go to these Silicon Valley activist investors, because they will have lost out money and they want to do the right thing. And to do the right thing, we need to have everybody know all of the same information at the same time, so that we're all facing in the same direction, we're all moving in the same direction towards the same common goal. So then I was like, how do we do this then? Right? So I was thinking, is an online course, right? Wait, go with me. Not just a course. This is like the truth, right? So we the people, we all have all the information. We need to present that information. We need to present that information as succinctly and concisely and articulately as we can, and we need to do it now. We need to do it now, because not everyone needs to do anything, but everyone needs to know the truth, right? So what we could do is, as a collective, this would be a collective thing, it would be a business of we the people. So we collate all of the relevant information, truth for COVID / flu, all of the voices, everyone's all of the information from all of the voices from all over the world, and we condense it into one online course, or whatever you want to call it, public findings from public inquiry on the situation. And we can have it into sections of what, the evidence, right? And then we can have the section of what we're going to do about it, right? And that can include the mindset, all about understanding psychology, abuse, to all of those elements there. Because the thing is, when you understand this information, it's like, everything makes sense now. That's the thing. You get to this level of awareness where it's like, it's not just an awareness, it's an energy. It's an energy that emanates to you and from you. And there is no stopping it. There's no stopping that energy. And that's what they truly fear, is that knowledge, that power, that we are literally limitless. We're limitless as individuals, and but as a collective, can you imagine if everyone was firing on all cylinders? We would evolve at an exponential rate in terms of who we are and what we achieve, because we can, and because we want to, and because we'll be helping each other to get the best out of each other. And that there is just it's a vibration, it's an energy, it's a frequency, it's an understanding, it's a connection that is just, it's a momentum. Even you can feel it, and every single person on the planet should know that feeling, because when you feel it, when you know it, when you have access to all of this information that is absolutely fundamental, and it has been hidden from us, so it's okay, but we know better now. And if we all truly stepped up into our power, we'll be, this will be new earth. Like it'll take we'll go somewhere else in terms of our capability as humanity, and that's the truth of it. And then you got, so going back to this thing, so we can have public, you can advertise it as public inquiry, results of public inquiry by the people. And then you can have each element of it, all of the results. And then, as I say, then we can have what the solutions are. And the psychology and mindset and mental health are absolutely fundamental moving forwards. Understanding abuse and all of that. If we could get that right, all of these other things will help. Will get better. And also, it's just backed by when you look into criminal justice, or look into the criminal justice system, it's like most of the people who are in prison are people that have been abused, and they haven't been listened to, and nobody saved them, and nobody came for them, and nobody loved them, and nobody listened to them. And then they've gone through that chain of events that's made them commit a crime, and then so they've punished themselves all the way along here, and now they're being punished again by the law for what? For all of the systems that we pay for to not help them all the way to that point, and then they want to get put in that. Like, come on, nah. And with technology, technology, we don't know how fast technology, we're around it, we know how fast it's moving and how fast it's changing, and everyone's in using the upgrades and changing the software, so what I'm saying, as a business, as whatever, we're fucking fanatical about it, like changing, making sure you got the latest greatest thing, right? We do it with consumerism. Why the fuck aren't we doing it with the systems that we pay for? I'm not talking about the criminal justice system. I'm talking about the social services system. I'm talking about the council system. I'm talking about the tax system. I'm talking about all of these government, all of these legacy systems that are just not fit for purpose no more. They aren't. And they refuse to change, because it must be hard for something that has existed for so long to then go, oh, the whole thing of it is fucking corrupt, as you like, and every bit of it's wrong. You just need to swipe it and start again. And that's what we could do here. That is what we can do here. In fact, it's what we must do here. Because Or let's say, so as I was saying about this course, right? So if we do that with the evidence, it's public inquiry, these are the findings, you put a nominal value on it, because the information is free, but not everyone's using it at the same time. So it needs to be professional. It needs to be, these are the results of our public finding, this is the truth, and here's what we're going to do about it. And every penny that's made from this initial course can be reinvested into the solutions, right? We need to create something that is the complete opposite of everything that exists. So it has to be completely transparent, it has to be ethical, it has to be moral, it has to promote health and wellness. It has to, the fundamental goal of it has to be to fix mental health and abuse, and teach the right mindset, the right, all of these things. All of these things already exist in separate. There's loads of it. There's loads of it all over the world, but nobody has it all in one go. That's what we should do together. It's like one main course with loads of mini courses in it on, the truth about the pharmaceutical industry, the truth about food industry, the truth about the criminal justice system, the truth about our politicians, the truth about all of it, yeah? And then the money that we make from this, just do a nominal value, 1 or 2, it doesn't have to be much, does it? And then if everyone buys the truth or the results of public findings into current situation, everyone will buy it. Everyone will buy it because we've had enough. And when people realise, once they've seen it all in one place, all at the same time, and when people really realise what's been done to them, then you're going to have their full attention. Because telling them the truth, it's a bitter pill to swallow, but it's better than a lie. It's better than a lie, and at least once it's like whipping off a band-aid. Once we know it all, then we can start fixing it. We stop messing around and with this nonsense. It's like on, off, lockdown, lock up, like changing the rules. It's all bullshit, and it's destroying lives. And we need to be people that want to save lives and that give a shit. And this is how we can do it. And the as I say, the money that comes from it then can be invested into a new school system, a new education, new schools. Just flip it completely. Pay for, fund healthcare centres where it's all about natural health and promotion of natural remedies and frequency. All of the things that they don't want us to know and share is what we're going to know and share, and to the best benefit of everyone's health. Watch how people's health increases. Watch it. Because as soon as they realise that they've been mentally screwed over and brainwashed for 18 months straight, and they've got the evidence, that's the thing. We need to put our money where our mouth is and prove it, don't we? And it is being proven in little places all over the place, and there's loads of law cases going on, but not everyone has that information. So we need to do it like now. And because then more people will join those lawsuits as well. And nobody will back down when they truly know what's been done to them. So, so the money made from it can then be wholly reinvested, 100% of it reinvested into fixing the problems. So building homes for homeless with addiction counsellors and mental health counsellors within the within the block, and those can be funded by, you can get that money back off the council to because bear in mind, homeless people have been housed during this pandemic, and then as soon as they've lifted the thing this year, they just kicked them out. It's like, why, if you've been housing homeless for their safety and the public safety during COVID, and then you want to kick them out back onto the street now, but you've just proved that you could do it. You just proved that you could house all the homeless, and you're kicking them back out of the street. This is how fucked up these people are, right? So we build the houses, or we invest in companies that build the houses, or the communities, to give the homeless people a house and the support network. And then they've got a residence, and they can get an account, and then they can get a job, because they've got the support there all within that. And then think about the energy that will create, and then it will create a load of people. Because I've just watched Crime Watch, and there's this guy on there, and he was a repeat offender for shoplifting. And shoplifting is generally done by people who are trying to feed their drug habit, right? Or whatever addiction it is. And so he's basically had said that he'd been in and out of prison most of his life from about 15. And he'd come out and he'd be out for about a week, and then he'd get caught again and go back to prison, because his addiction was such that when he was in prison, they don't help you get over addictions either, and prisons are full of drugs. So you never, they're not supporting you when you're in prison to actually, and you can say certain places have little good ideas, but then but why isn't everyone copying the good idea? You know, whoever's got the good idea, why isn't everyone copying that good idea? It makes no sense. If there is a prison that's doing something different, means that they've got a reduced reoffending rate, and because they're teaching how to get over addictions in that. But why isn't that repeated everywhere, every prison? Whoever's got the good idea, let's just copy them, and then everyone's got the best of everything. That's what I'm saying. This needs to be like to provide everyone with the information. First of all, the facts, the truth, regardless of how painful it is. It's got to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And then from there, give them the tools and the knowledge on how, and the contacts and the other courses, of being affiliate to other courses and other things that are going to help to deal with trauma, deal with abuse, deal with mental health, deal with all of those things, to get you to a state of understanding who you are and that you're so powerful. So then the way you advertise, I was thinking about this, because obviously I've been watching these things and doing these courses myself, so I understand how it works. And then you can advertise you can advertise our public inquiry /truth /evidence. We can advertise our public inquiry on every social media platform. So, and we can also provide in this all of the evidence on the censorship from big tech, all of the criminal activity, and take them down as well where we're at. So we can advertise it on by advertising on social media, all of the social media platforms. So Google ads, Facebook ads, YouTube ads. Then we can advertise, and all the other ones now, Snapchat, TikTok. Then you can also advertise in games, in apps, on voice advertising, on Alexa, on Spotify, on all of those online radio stations. There's loads of online radio stations that aren't associated with these bad actors. So we can advertise on all of those all at the same time if we have the backing of these activist investors. Because if we have them and we can just smash this out one time everywhere, they can't stop it. And then we'd have like a dollar value on it or something, and then every dollar that is made from this will go back into reinvesting into all of the solutions, because we know we can, and we prove them all wrong. And then not only that, we'll take away their, because we've proved the case, because our public inquiry, our course, because it will prove without a shadow of a doubt that what we are saying is happening. Yeah. Then we'll be able to take all of their customers. We'll be able to take all of their staff. We'll be able to only promote what is best for the people. So anything that our businesses, as we the people, anything our business is associated with, it's got to be transparent, honest, ethical, moral, and the best for the people, and the people everywhere, everyone everywhere. It has to be equal access. Yeah. And we have to relearn, we have to reteach and relearn everything, because so much has changed. So much has changed because as technology has changed on our everything has changed. And people don't like the fact that what the evidence that's now coming out proves that things that they have done are wrong or dangerous or poisonous. Which was their full intention from the beginning, by the way, and they've been doing it from the get-go, and we just didn't realise, we forgot. But when you look at the massive information, you see, and they've been waging a war on us from the beginning, these people, things. So, and when you truly let that sink in, when you truly understand the depth of it, how fucking psycho it is, and how long it's been going on, and what they've actually done to us, there's absolutely no way you would stand for this shit. No way anyone would. You just wouldn't. And then that's the way we move. Then we're united. We're united in numbers. We're united in knowledge. We're united in access. We're united in truth. We're united in our desire to get justice. We're united in our ability and knowledge of who we are and what our power is. We're united in the way we move forward. See what I mean? Because we're in a state of disarray, and we need to all face the same way, looking at the same thing, moving in the same direction. And the only way to do that is to have some have this release of our public inquiry on the basis of 18 months of research, and everyone that is involved, our collective, can provide evidence to this one course. So it's got one thing that people can just buy for $1 or $2, whatever it is, and then they can have it all, they can look through it all, and they will see and know the truth. And that is what they fear most, because they already fear us because of the way that they're behaving. They're acting cray-cray, because so many of us have already awoken and see the truth and know the truth and have access to the truth. And it's as I say, look how far we've come. Our movement has grown at an exponential rate. Look at the numbers. Look at the amount of protests. It's millions and millions, if not billions of people now. And everyone everywhere knows something is wrong. Whether or not they, as I said, whether they know the ins and outs, doesn't matter. They know something is wrong. Deep down, they know it. So if we came out now with the results of our public inquiry, and every person who knows something does a little bit in this video, a testimony, a mini course, whatever it is. And then every penny made from it, we the people fix all the problems. Yeah, that's where I'm at. So, and then that way we're only promoting the best of everything, right? We could just flip it, just like that. Because it is absolutely fundamental. People need to know what's going on, and although it's going to be horrible, at least they'll know. And then also providing them with the solution, with the tools on how to deal with it, and get over trauma, and get over anger, and understand abuse, and learn to speak up for ourselves, and know things are not acceptable, and we should not accept them, and all of those things. We just need to reteach it all. And then we'll all be in our power, and there isn't a fucking thing they can do about it. And we'll just because nobody will want to work for them. Nobody will want to buy their products anymore. Nobody will want to use anything associated with them ever again. As soon as everyone knows the truth. This is absolutely fundamental. Yeah, consumer is king. Nobody will want to have a fucking thing to do with any of them. And we'll be able to take them down. And then because then everyone will be looking directly at them. Everyone will be involved in lawsuits. Everyone will be demanding justice for what has been done to them over the last 18 months. And every single person on the planet will get justice. Because there ain't a fucking thing they can do about it. When everyone knows the truth, they can't hide from it. That's the only thing they got, is trying to hide in the shadows and try and discredit people. It's like, you can't fucking discredit this shit. It's there, black and white, mate. Yeah, let's go. Let us go. They're on the downward hill, and they know they are. There is nothing they can do about it. There is not a thing they can do about it. And that's the truth. They can threaten people with whatever they fucking want. They ain't gonna win. And they know it. Right? So, I know it's horrible. I know it's tough. I know it's been an awful 18 months. And a lot of people have died. But we don't want any more people to die. This is the thing, right? Surely we've got to agree with this. We don't want more people to die. Enough people have died. Enough people have died, and enough people have been damaged mentally, physically, emotionally, financially by this whole thing. Enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. If we work together on this, you understand what I'm saying? The level of awareness, when you're armed with the truth, yeah, it gives you a level of authority and understanding and power that nobody can touch you. And we need everyone to be in that state of awareness and in their own power, because then we literally will be able to achieve anything. That's the thing. We literally can achieve anything. So I'm going to send this video to those investors. Let's go. Love you. I'll speak to you later.